Today we step into one of the quietest, most electric corners of long-term love. Touch. Not the casual brush that passes unnoticed, but the kind of deliberate, attentive touch that can make a woman past 60 feel vivid, seen, and achingly alive. The title of this video promises something bold. 7 places that light her up that many men don't notice. And yes, it sounds a little like a secret map. But there's no shortcut here, no one-size-fits-all formula. What I want to offer is richer, an invitation to slow down, to become curious again, and to discover how pleasure after 60 is less about speed and more about savoring. When you move slowly enough for her nervous system to notice each impression, anticipation becomes an amplifier. A single patient minute can multiply everything that follows. Part 1. The new landscape of desire. Menopause changes the terrain, but it doesn't erase desire. It alters its contours. Hormonal shifts can make skin thinner, cause dryness, and change blood flow patterns, all of which change how sensation feels. What used to read as rough may now read as unpleasant. What used to feel faint may now feel electric. The practical upshot is simple. Gentler, longer, more lingering contact often yields more reward. Her arousal often unfolds like a coastline being revealed by a slow tide, rather than a sudden high wave. If you rush the tide, you miss the treasures beneath. But when you slow your pace, when you let anticipation build and breathe alongside her, the eventual pleasure is richer and more integrated. Importantly, desire after 60 rarely confines itself to a single point. The invitation to touch expands outward. Her scalp, the curve of her neck, the backs of her hands, the subtle line where her back meets her waist, all of these places are hungry for attention. The most common misstep is being goal-oriented. Touch as a tool to get somewhere. The truer posture is experience-oriented. Touch as a way of exploring and honoring the whole person in front of you. That mental shift from "I'm doing this to get sex" to "I'm doing this because I love exploring you" is the secret hinge that opens everything wider. Part 2. The 7 hot spots. 1. The scalp and hair. There is a deeply rooted, almost pre-verbal response to being touched where the head meets the world. Fingers threading through hair, gentle tugging just enough to stir sensation, and a slow, even scalp massage do more than feel nice. They downshift stress and invite vulnerability. Technically, a calm scalp massage engages the parasympathetic nervous system and signals safety, which in turn allows arousal systems to come online. Practically, try varying pressure and rhythm. Broad, flattening palm strokes, fingernails that mimic a comb without scratching, small circular fingertip motions over the crown. A dab of warm oil at the temples can feel indulgent, but what matters most is the message you send. I am here to care for you. When she relaxes there, other parts of her body often follow. 2. The nape of the neck and shoulders. The back of the neck is a superb threshold between intimacy and eroticism. It carries a surprising density of sensory nerves and is also psychologically close. You're standing behind her, close to her breath. Slow kisses at the hairline, a warm breath along the nape, hands that work into the trapezius and shoulders with a mindful, unhurried pressure. These actions loosen physical tension and create a sense of safe closeness. When you combine touch with soft, appreciative speech, or a low murmur against her skin, you're layering sensory input in a way that feels both protective and fiercely intimate. Many women will tell you a gentle, deliberate kiss there can unlock desire faster than more obvious moves. 3. The hands and wrists. Too often hands are treated as tools and ignored as sources of intimacy. In reality, they are richly innervated and exquisitely expressive. Slow mapping of the palm with your thumb, gentle pinches of the webbing between fingers, tracing the lines of the wrist, all of these gestures are tender and erotic. Bringing her hand to your lips and kissing it communicates reverence. Stroking along the side of the thumb or the outer edge of the wrist can feel electric precisely because those spots are not normally the destination of sexual attention. Hands also create a rhythm. Interlace fingers for a grounding moment, then release and play with the contrast between pressure and feather-light touch. Attending to her hands says plainly, I notice even your smallest parts. 4. The small of the back. There's a reason this place has been a classical signifier of closeness. It's a bridge between the upper and lower body, an axis that connects posture and touch. Placing a firm, steady hand there communicates protection and presence. From that anchor point, slow circular motions with the thumb, alternating with flat hands that glide down and back up, can create a delicious building of attention. When your lips or breath skim the shoulder blade in time with your hand, the effect is a multisensory nudge toward openness. Be mindful of pressure and always read her face and body language. This area can be deeply intimate for some and ticklish or sensitive for others. 5. The inner thighs. Approaching the inner thighs is where patience pays off in spades. This region is highly sensitive, but its potency lies in the tease, the near miss, the whisper of attention. Use feather-light strokes, the ghost of your fingertips, or the warmth of your breath, tracing a slow arc. Vary distance and timing. Pause longer than feels comfortable, bring your hand closer, and then retreat. That sweet, prolonged tension, the delicious not yet, primes the nervous system and intensifies subsequent contact. Consider pairing this with verbal cues, a soft question about what she likes, to keep the experience consensual and collaborative. 6. The whole vulva, not just the clitoris. Far too many people rush to the most obvious focal point. Imagine instead treating the vulva as a landscape worthy of exploration. Start at the mons and outer labia. Kiss and stroke the outer edges. Pay attention to the clitoral hood and the vestibule, and allow the entrance itself to be approached in a circular, reverent way. Gentle, varied approaches, light strokes, soft kisses, slow tonguing of sensations with fingertips, allow sensitivity to build without overwhelming. This is less about trickery and more about generosity. An unhurried, curious devotion that communicates, I'm here to discover what you enjoy. When you honor the whole area first and only focus more intensely when she signals readiness, you create a path to pleasure that feels embodied and expansive, rather than abrupt and mechanical. 7. Her mind. Perhaps the most overlooked erogenous zone is the mind itself. Words shape experience. Compliments, curiosity, and narrative can inflame the imagination in ways touch alone cannot. Tell her something true about what you find irresistible. Name the way her skin catches light, the sound she makes when she exhales, the memory of a tender moment between you. Ask questions that invite her to guide you. Whispering that you've been thinking about her all day, or telling her precisely what you love about watching her unwind under your hands, plants sensory seeds that her body will happily bloom. Safety, admiration, and desire spoken aloud remove inhibition and let her erotic imagination run free. And that mental arousal translates into stronger, more lasting physical responses. Part 3. Beyond a map. These 7 points aren't hacks to force a reaction. They're invitations to a different kind of intimacy. After 60, sex doesn't have to be an attempt to relive your 20s. It can be a practice in deepening, slower, wiser, and more attuned. So here's a simple experiment for tonight. Choose one non-genital place from this list, maybe her scalp, her hands, or the small of her back, and touch it without any agenda. No goal, no rush, no expectation. Let your attention itself be the gift. Notice how her breathing changes, how the softness of her face alters, how her eyes might become more luminous. Those tiny shifts are the beginnings of desire. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these spots surprised you the most? Share it in the comments. Your experiences help others learn. An open, honest conversation is how we all get better at loving well. Let's take this from invitation into practice. Concrete, gentle ways to turn these ideas into a ritual you can do tonight and every night after. Think of it as a 5-step prefatory practice that prepares her body and mind, and that you can adapt into 10 minutes or an hour depending on time and appetite. Begin with atmosphere. Dim lights, warm the room, and remove sources of interruption. This isn't about production value. It's about signaling that what follows is different from the ordinary. A soft blanket, a warm towel, or a gentle playlist are all optional, but the unspoken message matters. You are intentionally creating a space in which she can be fully present. Initiate with presence. Sit beside her, take both of her hands and pause. Look at her face with a slow, steady gaze for 3 to 5 seconds. Say one simple, honest sentence. I want to be with you right now. That line both claims intention and invites consent. If she nods or smiles, begin. If she hesitates, ask if she'd like to be touched and where. Consent and curiosity are the scaffolding for everything that follows. Move in layers. Start with a non-sexual zone and stay there long enough that her nervous system registers safety. Scalp, hands, shoulders, or the small of the back. Use a pattern of touch that alternates pressure and lightness. 3 long bridging strokes, then a delicate feathering. 2 kneads, then the warmth of your breath. Time your rhythm to her breathing. When she inhales, soften. When she exhales, deepen slightly. This synchronized rhythm creates a visceral sense of connection and trust. Use language that coaxes, not commands. Talk lightly about what you're doing. I love how your hair slips through my fingers, or that spot at the base of your neck, may I kiss it? Phrasing is everything. Requests that name sensation and invite permission are arousing because they keep her in the loop and amplify ownership of pleasure. Layer attention outward to inward. After the anchor touch, scalp or shoulders, allow your hands to wander slowly across the shoulders to the upper back, down the spine to the small of the back, then around to the sides, and if welcomed, to the inner thighs. Always pause between zones. The pause does 2 things. It magnifies anticipation, and it gives her a chance to give nonverbal cues or words that guide you. Practice the art of the not yet. Especially with inner thighs and the vulva, cultivate the delightful art of postponement. When she wants more, slow down instead of speeding up. Draw back a fraction and then return with a tiny variation. Change the pressure, alter the angle of touch, add a whispered sentence. This creates layers of desire rather than a single spike that dissipates quickly. Mind your toolkit. A light, fragrance-free oil or a restorative lotion can help with dryness and increase pleasurable sensation without adding sensory confusion. Warm the product in your hands first. If mobility or joint pain is a concern, use supportive pillows to make positions comfortable for both of you. Soft lighting and warmth help skin feel more receptive. If either partner is on medication or has recent surgery, consider a brief check-in with a clinician about safe positions and pressure. Watch for invitation signals. The clearest feedback in intimate touch often isn't words, it's breath, micro-movements, the way her fingers find yours, the softening of her jaw, the change in pupils and skin temperature. Lean into these micro-signals. If she actively participates, matching pressure, guiding your hand, follow her lead. If she pulls away or tenses, ease off and ask gently if she's comfortable. Address common anxieties directly. Many men worry they'll do it wrong. The remedy is simple. Curiosity beats technique. Say aloud, "Tell me when you like this," and if you don't hear words, ask for a thumbs up or a soft sound. Women often want reassurance that they're desired as they are. Simple, sincere compliments about the way her skin looks in the light or the way she smells are more potent than any mechanical skill. Short sequences you can practice. The 5-minute scalp ritual, 60 to 90 seconds of slow, broad hand strokes, 60 seconds of circular fingertip work at the crown, 30 seconds of focused temple massage. Finish with a warm breath along the hairline and a single slow kiss to the nape. The hand-wrist devotion. Warm both hands, spend a minute tracing each palm, thumb to thumb, pause to kiss the webbing between fingers, and end by holding her hand against your chest for a grounding 30 seconds. The inner thigh tease. Using the flat of your fingers, draw long parallel lines down the outer thigh. Pause 3 heartbeats. Move closer to the inner thigh with feather-light strokes. Pull back and repeat. Always ask once before moving inward. When to bring words into play. Use language to stoke imagination as you touch. Reminisce about a shared memory that felt close. Speak about fantasies you know she enjoys, or narrate small observations. I love the sound you make when you relax. The goal is not to perform erotic literature, but to use honest, specific speech that makes her feel seen and desired. When physical limitations exist. Aging bodies are resilient, but sometimes limited. Hip pain, arthritis, pelvic surgeries, or pelvic organ prolapse may change what feels comfortable. Adapt positions, shorten sessions into several smaller rituals, and prioritize pockets of intimacy. Holding, eye contact, mutual hand massage that honor both safety and connection. If something hurts, stop and reframe the experience as care rather than performance. Finally, make it ordinary and repeatable. The power here is cumulative. An intentional 10-minute evening touch ritual 3 times a week can rewire how you both feel about closeness. It becomes less about achieving an outcome and more about building a language of attention. Over time, that language deepens trust, increases desire, and translates into richer sexual moments when they arise. If you'd like, I can write a short, customizable script you can read as you begin the ritual. Words that set intention and invite consent, crafted in the voice I use here. Or I can produce a condensed printable checklist for the 5-minute rituals so you and your partner can try them without thinking. Tell me which you prefer, and I'll create it now. When we think about love after 60, we often assume it must shrink, quiet down, or fade into memory. The truth is far more beautiful. Touch, when offered with intention and patience, becomes not only a gateway to physical pleasure, but also a medicine for the heart. These rituals remind her that she is still deeply desired, still radiant, still worthy of being pursued slowly and reverently. And they remind you too of the joy of being the giver, the explorer, the one who delights in every sigh and smile. The importance of making this a ritual is that it turns intimacy into a practice, not a performance. It tells her, your body, your mind, your presence, all of you, matters to me again and again. Over time, this practice deepens connection, reduces anxiety, and builds trust that no pill or quick trick can replace. It becomes the gentle foundation on which passion continues to thrive at any age. If what we've shared today speaks to you, I invite you to carry it into your evenings. Even just 5 minutes can begin to shift how she feels, how you connect, and how your love expresses itself. And if you found this conversation nourishing, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you never miss what comes next, and share this with someone who deserves to know that intimacy doesn't end with age. It evolves, it enriches, it becomes more profound. I'm Dr. Susan Bliss. Until next time, touch with intention, love with patience, and let desire grow deeper with every passing year.